El economista se reúne con Greg Stem, el consejero delegado de Odissey Marine Exploration, una compañía con sede en Tampa, Florida, que se dedica a rescatar buques hundidos a través de la historia y también a recuperar los tesoros que en ellos se esconden. De un tiempo a esta parte, durante los últimos años, Odissey Marine Exploration ha sido un punto muy polémico, sobre todo con el gobierno español y también con las autoridades británicas últimamente. Por eso nos hemos reunido aquí con su consejero delegado para esclarecer algunos de los puntos más polémicos de la historia de esta compañía, que por cierto también cotiza en el Nasdaq. So, hi Greg.
Hello, Jose.
Thank you very much to be with us. And first of all, I would like you to explain a little bit what does Odissey Marine Exploration do?
Well, Jose, many years ago, when we got into this business in the late 80s, we saw that there was a tremendous problem in deep ocean shipwreck exploration. On the one hand, you had treasure hunters that did not do proper archaeology. They did not pay attention to cultural heritage. And on the other side, you have archaeologists that didn't have any funding and didn't have the tools they needed to do proper archaeology. So we saw the potential to develop a business where you do great archaeology, you respect cultural heritage, but you also develop a way to make a profit so that you don't have to have taxpayers paying for your cultural heritage management.
So you don't consider yourself a treasure hunter?
No, I don't think I don't consider us treasure hunters at all. Treasure hunters don't pay attention to archaeology. I will tell you that not too long ago I met with one of the foremost underwater archaeologists in Europe. And I sat, and I've known him for many years, as I know many of the archaeologists. And I said to him, "You know in your heart that we actually do better archaeology than you do, don't you?" And I won't say his name. And he thought about it for a second, and he said, "Yes, Greg, we know that. The archaeologists know that. But the problem isn't your archaeology. The problem is your success." But why is that? It really doesn't make any sense. I mean, what we're doing is it really doesn't make any sense, though. We're presenting a mechanism to save cultural heritage, to bring the history back to life, but not make the taxpayers pay for it. And in today's environment, in today's economy, I think it's very important to find ways to fund things without asking taxpayers to pay more and more.
Yep, I think that there's people that see you guys also as a public traded company, so you have certain responsibilities for your investors. And so how do you think that kind of image or definition could affect to certain other governments in the waters that you are exploring or you are making excavations?
There are some people that suggest that you can't have profit in archaeology. But why? What other field is profit not allowed in? The best medical advances come from for-profit companies. The best advances in most sciences come from for-profit companies. What's different about archaeology? Why can't profit and good archaeology coexist? I don't see a problem with it. It happens in any other field.
And till now, which is the most important shipwreck recovered by?
It's hard to put one in front of the other in terms of importance. There are many that are very significant for many different reasons. I mean, this last year we found U-boats that were previously undiscovered. And those are important because we're allowing families to have closure with the people that were lost on the U-boats. They finally know what happened to them. The Black Swan is a very important shipwreck because it's helping us to establish how to deal with these shipwrecks from a legal standpoint. We have the Victory is exceptionally important. I think it's one of the most important shipwrecks in history. In the case of the Victory, you have a ship that was the most advanced ship of its time. It was a ship that a lot of people went down on, and it was a complete mystery because they didn't know where it went down. We found it almost 100 kilometers from where it was supposed to be, so we've really rewritten history. There are so many shipwrecks out there, and everyone tells a different story.
And in the Victory case, you guys collaborate with the government of UK, huh?
Yeah. No, we're working very closely with the British government. You know, it's a funny thing about what the media says about Odissey and what some government officials say about Odissey in Spain, because we enjoyed a fantastic relationship with the Spanish government. There were some issues with the Spanish Columbus ships in the United States that we helped Spain with. We had a very good relationship. When we first started doing exploration work off Spain, we had Spanish naval officials that were aboard our ships watching everything that we did. There seems to be a small group of people in Spain that would prefer that Odissey not be working in Spain. I think that they would prefer that that money goes to pay for certain departments to do the shipwreck exploration rather than Odissey as a private sector company presenting a way to do it that doesn't require any government money.
So going back, we will go to the Spanish case later. Going back to the UK, what's going on right now with the Laconia?
With the Laconia. In the case of the Laconia, it's a relatively modern ship. It was a White Star passenger liner, and what we did, as we do with all of our shipwrecks of significance, is we filed an admiralty arrest in U.S. federal court. Unfortunately, admiralty arrests are not very well understood. And for some reason, many people, including people in the Spanish government, and some people even in the British government, think that when we file an admiralty arrest, it's because we want to keep anybody else from filing a claim. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. When we file an admiralty arrest, we take this into court, and we say, we found this shipwreck. Now, anybody that has a claim should come in and make that claim, and then the court protects that shipwreck site on behalf of all the claimants, not just Odissey. So in the case of the Laconia, we filed the admiralty arrest. The first thing we did is went to the British government and said, do you have a claim to this shipwreck site? And if they do have a claim to it, and we asked them for information, and we still haven't gotten information, then the U.S. court protects that shipwreck site on behalf of Odissey and the British government and on behalf of everybody else.
So now let's go to the Spanish case. The company started having problems with the Spanish government. If I'm not wrong, with the HMS Sussex case in Gibraltar. And what happened with that particular case?
Well, the Sussex was very interesting because when we went to work on the Sussex, we had permits from the Spanish federal government. Everything went very smoothly. We had representatives from the Navy that were there, and we worked for several years on that project. Then there was a battle between the autonomous region of Andalusia and the federal government. The autonomous region said, wait, that's our territory. We're the ones that have the right to work in this project. And the federal government said, no, it's ours. So we got caught really in the middle of a battle there. When the government changed, the autonomous region was then given permission, and they said that you have to work with us now. And we're fine. We don't care who we have to work with. We thought it was important to work with the autonomous region or the federal government. But because we got caught in this political battle, there was a lot of misinformation that was put out by the press. You had, some of the media that believed that the autonomous region should have control. Some believed the federal government should have control. And we just got caught in the middle of that battle, unfortunately. But prior to that, we had a wonderful relationship.